My voice up here real quick. You know, Shakespeare said a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And when we talk about socialism, I just suggest you go look in the dictionary and read what it says as far as the definition is concerned. My Democrat colleagues have moved to take over the auto industry, the health industry, the energy industry, and now they're trying to do it through the bureaucracy. And now they're doing it with the banking industry and the financial institutions of this country. Now, when the government takes over the private sector, that's socialism. And if you don't believe it, look it up in the dictionary. You know, this was tried back in the 1930s when Roosevelt was president. He passed what was called the National Recovery Act. And he tried to do it in one fell swoop. You guys are doing it incrementally, but you're doing the same thing they tried to do back then. There were two guys that came over from Europe who sold chickens. And they had these chickens in a crate. And they let people pick out the chickens they wanted to buy because the people could pick the fat ones or whatever ones they wanted. And the National Recovery Act officials came in and said, you can't do that. You have to take the first chicken you grab because you might leave some of the skinny ones for the people that come later. That case went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And Justice Brandeis, who was not a conservative, he was a liberal judge, he wrote the opinion. And the vote was 9-0 saying that it was unconstitutional to have the National Recovery Act because it was socialism. And that's what you're doing right now to this economy. And I think everybody in America that's paying attention really understands it. You're running us in the ground financially, and you're putting all the control you can under the government. And the future generations are going to suffer because of that. And so I'd just like to say to my colleagues tonight on the other side of the aisle, we believe we should solve these problems. And there are problems. But we believe we should do it the way Ronald Reagan did, instead of taxing the people to death, putting more control in government, and putting us in a debt that we'll never get out of, and saddle our kids and posterity with something that they'll curse us for down the road. So when I say to my colleagues, and I hope my colleague who just spoke is still around here, he probably left, go to the dictionary, and if you need one, I'll get it for you, and look up socialism, and you'll see what you're doing is socialism. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back.